name comes to the top. And she is known as an activist and worked alongside with the National Urban League, where she met Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Later, Mrs. Clayton dominated the media world, as she was the first Black woman in the South to host a primetime daily talk show. She also served as a broadcast executive with Turner Broadcasting as Vice President of Urban Affairs. Mrs. Clayton was instrumental in the development of the International Civil Rights Walk of Fame, which honors the achievements of African Americans and civil rights advocates. Her influence even made top leaders of the KKK denounce the Klan.
So thank you, Leah. Let me tell you, I had a chance, we celebrated 92 on a boat, right? It was a very, very rewarding opportunity. It's the first time I actually had a chance to meet Mrs. Clayton. And let me just tell you this, you're talking about a powerhouse. Let me repeat something that was just shared. As she tells the story, as the story has been told to me, she may do a little bit more justice. She went and knocked on the president's door with some doctors expecting to get in and speak to them. Is it President Johnson? It was President Johnson. This is a true story. She didn't have an appointment. She went up on Capitol Hill and she wanted to meet and talk with the president. And from that meeting, as she tells it, she had to go away. They did turn her around. She eventually got that meeting, the same visit, and it allowed us to be able to integrate the nation's hospitals. As I understand it, y'all give her a round of applause for that fight. That's what we mean when we talk about a civil rights icon. So yeah, she may have been known as Dr. King's personal assistant, but she came stepping out strong, and in her own right did her own thing. So will y'all join me with a real round of applause and stand to your feet for none other than the Mrs. Xernona Clayton.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here for lots of reasons. I like Birmingham. I've met some wonderful people here over the years. And I want to say to you that you've got a great leader here, and everybody's proud, and everybody sings his praises. So I'm glad to be with you tonight as well. But you know what? I want to share with you just a couple of things. You're beautiful. I live by a saying: if you want to, you can. I've done it. I built a school in Africa, only to find out after the school was finished, I was waiting for them to install the fresh water fountains. They said, we can't have running water because we have no electricity. Well, I'm kind of ignorant. I didn't know where electricity came from. I said, well, find some. And it wasn't as simple as that. I kept on, because I believed that we had to have clean water. Well, they called me from Africa one day to say, guess what? You now have electricity. We found some. They laughed and said, we found some. And as a result, 25,000 people in your village now have electricity. And children would come to the school and said they were happy about the school because they wanted so much to learn and to read. But if it rained, they couldn't go outside and learn how to read, and now they could. A reporter asked me one day, why is it you're always so cheerful? Said, everybody has bad days, and I want to know how you handle yours. And I said, well, sir, I don't have any bad days. Said, everybody has bad days. I said, I thought you were asking me about mine. I don't have any. He said, well, explain it. When I wake up in the morning and realize I am she who is up, that is a good day. I take that day and try to make something good happen every day. Now, somebody told me the other day, now I've been shy about age because when people ask how old are you, I thought it was just a number, so I picked one. 31 was mine for years and years and years. I was only 31 years old. But last year, they told me the real truth is, and I said, I don't think I want to know the real truth, but go ahead and give it to me. They said, you're going to be 90. I said, 90 years old? That's so old. And then I had to face it. And I asked myself one question. If I've been here 90 years, what in the world have I been doing? And I decided to take a piece of paper and start listing things that I've done in 90 years. Not a bad record either. I went to the White House. I got sense enough to know that story you told that you just can't walk into the White House, but I decided I'd try. And I did. And I said, Dr. Martin Luther King said, you all were friends. And I said, I told you about the segregated system we had in Atlanta, and you acted like you didn't care. Because I didn't even hear from my letter. So I've come to Washington now to ask why you didn't write the letter and why you're supporting prejudice and discrimination. He fell out laughing and then threw us out. But then 3 weeks later, he called a press conference and announced, as of this moment, all of the hospitals in the United States are now desegregated. Like the Urban League encourages us to do, if you want to, you can. If you want to, you can. Thank you very, very much.
Y'all give it one more time. This lovely lady, a civil rights icon. Absolutely. So, as the Baptist pastors say, we're not gonna worry your patience. We almost done. We are just a little bit over, right? So y'all want to be in between you and Mr. Eric Benet, right? But before we do, I have a special presentation for you. So this young lady is about to get a statue, all 3'2" of you.
Big.
It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big.
I'm 4'11", but they tell me the statue is 6 feet. So I'm just trying to stand tall.
So there's a statue that will be erected in downtown Atlanta. And you actually have this Xernona Square, right? Downtown Atlanta. And you'll be the first African-American woman to have any type of statue in that area. And so what we want to do is we want to be a part of that legacy. We're going to donate $10,000 to that statue so that we can get a little piece of that legacy. Thank you so much for coming. We love you. We love you. Y'all give her another round of applause. So we're gonna close out. Let me get my partner in crime, my host, to come back up, and if she does, let me do this. Let me recognize